Happy Monday, everyone. Hope you guys had a great weekend. We have got a lot of things going on over here. Super exciting times. We've got just tons of things coming up that you guys will be hearing about soon. But today's video is all going to be about the template of the month for the month of September. Yeah, hard to believe. Anyway, so our template of the month looks like this.
Hold it down a little. There we go.
And we are calling this...
We don't know yet.
We don't know yet, but we'll figure it out. By the time you guys see this, we'll figure it out, and I'll type it across the screen here.
It'll be on the website.
Yeah, and it'll be on the website as well. So this will be the month of September of 2021, and so I am going to carve this for you guys and show you what my version of it looks like. So we're just going to... I've got a piece of this blue pine. This is that shiplap stuff that I got down at Lowe's, and I really like this stuff. Even after you rip off the top and the bottom, you end up with a full 6 inches, and it's fairly inexpensive, and it carves like butter. So when you have a layout template like this, it might have a little bit of bend to it or a little bit of a cup to it. What I like to do is hold it down, and there's any number of ways you can do it, but this is how I get all my green pencils with black ends on it. That's my ultimate goal. I don't want to spray too heavy. This pine, by the way, this blue pine, I've never had any issues with this stuff bleeding on me, so I'm not too concerned about that. But anyway, it gives us a nice sharp line. Had I left that the way it was and not held it down, I might not have had as sharp lines on those stars and stuff. So we're going to get set up. We're going to come back and we'll get this thing carved. All right, you guys, let's get to carving this. So first things first, remember that when you spray your layout, sometimes you'll have a little bit of a schmutz on top of the, yeah, that's the technical word, schmutz on top of the board there. So what you want to do is, and that another great reason to use this little sanding block is just, you know, sand it a little bit like that, and then your stiff bristle brush, and that'll get rid of the smudge. Schmutz? I said it wrong.
You just came up.
I guess I just don't know what the heck I'm saying. That'll get rid of that residue. Let's do it that way. All right, here we go. Let me put my cheaters on. And we got some lights. I'm using my profile bit on this. When I first started thinking about this, I was going to use my carving liner, but as I kind of checked it out more, I decided to use my profile bit, and that I think is going to work out best for me. First thing I got to do here, which I forgot to mention, I was almost fired up the router too soon, is I'm going to draw a line right down the center of that heart. And you'll see why I do that here in just a second. So, now we're ready, I guess, I hope. right, guys, so I just went straight through and carved that whole thing, but you could see that I set the depth different times. I reset the depth probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 times based on the width of the line that I needed. So that's what you kind of what you have to do, and I talk about that all the time. So don't get so caught up on exactly what that depth is. That's that last cut, and I didn't measure all the way through, but let me just tell you what that last cut is. So you can, it is 3/16. That last deep cut here was 3/16. So everything else was just short of that. Anywhere between an 1/8 and 3/16. Anyway, all right, so I'm going to get the background bit, come back, and we'll finish this up. All right, guys, I've got the 60-degree bit in. Normally, my background, I use a 90-degree, but being as we've got some really tight areas in here, this is the instance where I would use the 60. Because I just don't want to take a chance and nick one of those stars, because the 90 cuts much wider than the 60. All right, we're fighting the flies, so let's get this thing done. Here we go. Okay, guys, I forgot to tell you, I had that set at about 3/16, just a little over 3/16, but I think that does a pretty good job, and I don't think I've got too many high spots in there. So remember, when you're doing this, you want to hold it at an angle like that, and see if you've got any high spots. Then I use a little carving tool just to make sure all my high spots are down below where I'm going to be, the level I'm going to be when I sand. So we're going to set up, we're going to spray this thing, color it, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I want this field back here to be blue. I'm going to have white stars, white and red stripes. And I want this field to be blue, but these lines are going to be black. So here's the way I'm going to do this. And it took me quite a while to kind of figure this all out in my mind, how I wanted this thing to look. So I'm going to mask off over here. And remember, guys, if you're going to use something like this, make sure it's matte finish. If you use gloss, semi-gloss, or even satin, chances are it's going to bleed on you. I really like this blue. And again, have a really light touch. And the reason for that is, even though this is paint, but because it is paint, it takes longer to dry, so you don't want to spray really heavy. Now this probably will take 15 to 20 minutes to dry. So what I'm going to do is now, just on the surface, we're going to see if we can get away with this. Bless you. All I'm going to do here, guys, is just mask this off for a second while I spray with my black primer. I spray those lines. Again, this is pine, so I don't want to spray it real heavy. I still want to have a light touch with the can. All right, so now we're just going to let that set for about 15-20 minutes and let that blue dry. Then we'll come back and sand it off. All right, you guys, let's sand this off. So the one thing that I want you to be sure and do if you're using this paint, that paint that I showed you before, is that stuff takes a while to dry. It's not like the primer. It takes a while. And if you try and sand it too fast, it's going to gum up your discs. Even if you let it dry really good, it still might gum up your disc. So let's get this thing sanded. I've got a 60 degree on my disc sander. 60 degree. I got a 60 grit, so let's do our first sand. Here we go. Now I'll do my finish sand with my random orbital and a 120. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Now, yep. Now for the color. So, a couple different ways to do this, guys. I've tried several different ways, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use paint pens. These are paint pens that I've had for quite a while, and I haven't had a chance to use them, but I tried this the other day, and actually they worked out pretty well. So, these things, if you haven't used them, let me, hang on, I'll be right with you. I know it seems silly, but I'm going to use my cheaters because I want to make sure I stay within the lines. So I want my stars white. This is just a scrap piece. So you can do this any number of different ways. If this is going outside, then what I would, this is just an interior, but if this was going outside, then what I would do is I put my finish on first, and I would use, what's that stuff we use? One shot. Yeah, one shot. So I'm going to go ahead and do one of the stripes here. Now, again, like I said, I tried this several different ways. This is the way I ended up doing it, and I'm going to show you an example of what it's going to look like when it's all done. I tried acrylic paint. Let me see. So you can do it with acrylic paints. These are little acrylics that I used, and that worked okay, but I didn't like it quite as well as I did the paint pens. You can obviously use, for the red, you can use Sharpie, although I don't know what you would use for the white, because I don't think they make white Sharpies, or if they do, I've never used one. Never even seen one. But these little paint pens, I've used these before, not this brand, but I've used paint pens before, and they actually work pretty well. But again, I consider this to be an interior sign, and if I was using these, I would, it would probably be just for interior. So that's kind of how the paint pens work. Now here's one that I did completely beforehand, and this is what it looks like when it's all done. Yeah, let me get that. I hope I'm not messing you up there, baby. And then this also has two or three coats of just the clear, the Rust-Oleum clear. Again, mostly an interior finish. If you were going to do this for outside, I would definitely pre-finish it then do all of your painting with the one shot. I think the acrylic paint works okay, but and that would work fine. But again, I would only do that on an interior sign. Now the cool thing is, if you decide to do it for outside and you pre-finish the whole thing first with your clear, something whether it's a Helmsman or whether it's Czar or whatever kind of exterior finish you're using, then you put the one shot on top of that. The one shot is exterior by itself. It's made for painting cars. Then you'd be good to go. So anyway, yeah, I think that's it, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. But I'm really happy with this, and I think we could make this in different sizes. I really like this this little pattern. Vicky found this, and I thought it was terrific. It was really fun to carve once you kind of get the process down. It's a lot of fun to carve, and I think it looks really cool when it's all painted up. So, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Please comment on the video, and then subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and click that little bell icon so you get notified when we do our videos 4 times a week. And email me directly, eric@makeawoodsign.com. We love you. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.